Welcome to this week's episode of the Top Podcast. As always, I'm one of your hosts, Rob. Joined with me are my friends Lou.
Adios.
Okay. And Mike.
I honestly, that threw me off. I had something in my... Then Lucian said goodbye, and my whole...
We like to sorry.
He's keeping us guessing.
Yeah, we like to apologize in advance for Mike's Walmart Wi-Fi. We're trying to upgrade him to at least like a Meijer or Target, but we'll see what we can do. We have a very special guest this week, though. Lou, why don't you introduce us to the guest that you brought on?
All right, this week's guest is an active hero against blackface. Had worms and is looking for. Don't ruin it. Don't ruin it. Now I have to restart. We're live. This week's guest is an active hero against blackface. Had worms and is looking for more. It is the reason. It is the reason for those don't get in the pool with active diarrhea signs. Please welcome Christian.
You're not gonna give her a title?
Oh my god.
Just Christian?
Just Christian.
We warned you, Christian. We don't know what Lou will say.
Yeah, well, he told me it was mostly nice. I did ask him, and he said mostly nice. And I guess it was true, even though it was pretty misleading.
I called you a hero. I don't know what else you want from me.
He also said I had worms, which is technically true, but not like in the way that people are gonna interpret that.
Okay, you had worms.
Are these
to clarify,
like
I
earthworms?
had composting worms, red wiggler worms to be specific.
So, what are those ones that like some athletes will get? I'm not
Ringworm?
Ringworm. I think that's what I was thinking. It doesn't make you itch your butt. So,
Make you itch your butt.
Lou, do you have an icebreaker question for us this week?
I do have an icebreaker question.
All right.
Christian, you are allowed to defend any of the things I said. It's more
my god.
two truths in a lie
okay.
situation.
Yeah,
I mean,
the last one was the lie.
Oh, I didn't know we were playing Two Truths and a Lie.
no, we're not playing two truths and a lie. I just said you're an active hero against blackface.
That was the
and
first
you worried about that's the first one. And you said you were more worried about the worm situation. But I'm him.
Well,
I mean, there's nothing wrong with being anti.
Right, I feel like that makes me look better than what the actual story is. The worms one makes it sound like I'm just dirty and I just had worms.
People who get worms aren't dirty. They just eat bad sushi.
You know what? That's fair.
Or maybe
That's
you,
fair.
you know.
I shouldn't have said that.
You shouldn't judge people for their parasites.
They're
They're people too.
It's not their fault, probably.
Probably not. I mean, it could be. Don't eat Starbucks sushi. Let's do yes. My icebreaker question is: what's something small that gives you nostalgia? It doesn't have to be like actual size small, but something like minuscule. I don't know. I don't know the words. Something
Like just
something little. Something
a small.
something.
What do you got first, Lou? Start us off with your example.
Okay. I'll start us off. Morning dew reminds me of Bear Lake. I just remember waking up and
That's fair.
that nice fresh morning dew, walking to. Is it like counselor meetings?
Counselor's meeting. You show up with wet shoes.
Show up with wet shoes. Yeah, flagpole. I kind of get that nice little smell.
I'd always start with shoes on because I never wanted to wear slides and get my feet all wet. All right. Mike would just go barefoot the whole week, so.
Yeah, that was a good week. I like
That's
that.
how you get ringworm.
Is it?
I don't know.
Man, I don't know, something small. You guys feel free to jump in whenever you got one.
Yeah, I'm still thinking.
Yeah, this would have been a really good one to have in it.
Right.
So there was this one week where I don't know the exact reason, but my parents had us staying at my grandparents for the week, and my mom made me sign a freaking contract saying I wouldn't have more than Coke a day. Which
you?
I don't
Was it
remember.
like a gram? Like what was the measurement here?
Was it notarized?
I don't think it was notarized. That's a good point. So it wasn't legally bought. I didn't know.
Was it pure Coke or could it be cut with something? Did that make a difference?
I suppose if I cut it with something, I could have stretched it farther, but then it wouldn't have been as good. I like it pure. But I got there, and on the second day, I found a box of Twinkies, and my granny was like, "Yeah, you can have some of those Twinkies if you want." I was like, "Oh, how many?" And she was like, "I don't care, just have them if you want them." And so I ate the whole box of Twinkies in one day, which I'm sure my mom would have been furious about, because it completely undermined the spirit of the Coke contract that she made me sign. And I don't even like Twinkies anymore, but they always remind me.
It's a good answer. Good answer. Good answer.
I guess for me, the thing that gives me nostalgia is, do you know those little tiny ceramic houses that they're blank and you're supposed to like paint, and they're usually like winter themed? They're like a Christmas.
You're supposed to
ceramic
paint
little
those?
house.
They're not just supposed to stay white and on your whoops.
I mean, they are in the crafts section, usually next to paint, so I feel like it's implied that you're supposed to paint them.
Oh, maybe I'm thinking of something.
Implication, Mike.
They're like the raw ceramic. They're usually like in that little like in Walmart in the craft section where they have all those little ceramic things you can paint, and it comes with that like tray of crappy little paint with the stupid plastic paintbrushes.
Okay. See,
You know what I'm talking about?
I can picture, the description is excellent, so I can picture exactly what you're saying. We had some that were like just solid white and had a base coat. And so you blew my mind for a second, and then together. Oh, please continue, and pardon the really unnecessary interruption.
It's okay. Those, every time I see them, remind me of my great grandma Eileen. Because she, every single Christmas, would paint like 10 of those things. Like, that was just her hobby. She would just like, every time I would see her, she would just be painting those little houses. And that was like kind of my first introduction to like being interested in doing art and craftsy things, and like kind of connecting to her in that way. So every time I see those, I get like a little nostalgic ping in my heart.
Okay, I'm gonna go with one. It was more when I was living in Oklahoma, but I loved it the few times when you'd walk outside and it was like below freezing, which to Oklahomans they're bundled up in Carhartts and everything. But then you're taking a deep breath and you get that like cold rush of air in your lungs. Man, I love that. Especially like being from Michigan, it reminded me of the winters back home. And now in North Dakota, we get that. It's just like only 1 week. Usually it's just next week. June. Yeah. Then -50. It's just like, nope, too much cold. It's too much for me, dog.
Oh. That is objectively just brutal.
Yeah. It's the first thing I think of that wasn't like video game related. I just wanted to get something more meaningful.
Oh, that's fair. I mean, video games are important.
I do have. There's so whenever I play Pokemon Black and White, I think of the second book in the Pathfinder series by Orson Scott Card. Because I listened to that book for the first time while playing that game for the first time, and now they're just those two things are permanently linked.
That's crazy how like this audio can equate to a memory. It's almost like, Lou, isn't that what we're talking about this week?
It is. Yeah.
Nailed it.
Wow.
Nailed that.
Transitions are good.
Segue. Sorry, I paid the big bucks here.
Yeah, boy gets paid the big bucks. All right, so this week we're doing top 3 songs that is related to a memory. Did I say that right?
Yeah.
That's fair. Yep, that's good. All right, before we get going, what is your guys' relationship with music? Like, I don't know, how did you get into music?
We're estranged,
I thought this would be a good transition. I mean, a good beginning question. If not, that's perfectly fine.
No, it's a good one. My first entry to music was when I was like a child. Probably, I don't know, like I didn't really care about music until I was probably in maybe middle school, and I had one of those little radios that in my room that I listened to, like the old school radios, I don't know what they're called, and I found like a rock station for Gladwin, and I would like secretly listen to it all the time because I lived with my grandparents, and they were like against any form of music other than like Conway Twitty and Johnny Cash. And so I would have to like listen to it so quietly because if they caught me, they would always yell at me and threaten to take my radio away. So that was like my first meaningful like experiences with music was probably during that time.
That's actually a good answer. So I started playing guitar in 8th grade. Yeah, we moved away from Allen Park to Westland, and it was like, well, I could go make a fresh group of friends, or I could learn to play guitar. And so I learned to play guitar. And for the longest time, I was like, playing guitar makes me cool. Like, I'm cool because I play guitar. And I had all this confidence. And then there was one day where I don't remember how it happened, and we'll leave this. But somebody else younger than me on the team was like, I think they were talking about maybe not being on the team. And I was like, dude, if you do it, don't do it. And they go, yeah, but like being on the worship team is what makes me cool. Like, I heard it. And crap. I've never said it out loud. But if that's what it sounds like, I need to never. And then, like 10 years later, I stopped playing on worship teams. Music is so much more fun when it's not time anxiety all the time.
Mm-hmm.
I think I can piece
That's
together
fair.
what you said.
Dang it!
Shit. Mixed
You
with
did
is
well
like,
for quite a few words, and then I think the most important parts you were trying to get at just started cutting out.
my favorite part is that the controller sounds clear, crystal clear.
Hey man,
Just
New York's not
flying
going to save
around New
itself.
York,
That's my favorite part. Is that it's every other word for him, but you
The
can hear
controller.
him swinging around.
You turn off the PlayStation. That'll.
I'm not playing an online
It's
game.
always online, my dude. They're on to us. They're watching. For me, I just my mom always had the radio going and things like that, so it was always contemporary Christian or classic rock. So I've just kind of always grown in music, and then like I think I had my first MP3 player. It was like a SanDisk was the brand. But it had like a gigabyte of memory, and I thought I could store the whole world on there. Like back in
Gig
like,
is a ton for back in the day.
like
Yeah,
sixth
for sure.
grade, 6th or 7th grade. I got it, and then I used music to feel a long time. I cut off emotions. It would only feel through music. So pretty good connection with music to me.
Very cool. So my answer kind of starts off with my number 3. So my dad was in a rock band, and so I was surrounded by music pretty much for a very young age. And he had a CD, like a huge, thick CD case. Am I saying that right? Like that had CDs in it.
Like the
It was
album.
like an album, yeah. And it was at least like 50 CDs in it. It was massive, and you pretty much could just hours and hours of just listening to music. And so my number 3 is when my dad used to just take me everywhere. I remember times where he would take me to his like therapy sessions, but I wouldn't actually go into therapy. I would just sit in the car. And then there were times where I'm pretty sure he was just
The dog cut through. It's not even on the property.
That was a very desperate.
So it's wild dog paths in New York, man.
That just sounded like a grown man pretending to be a dog.
It's a big dog. My next door
Yeah.
neighbor has these. I don't know what they're freaking huge.
I think it might be Newfies.
Yeah, I think they might be bigger than your dog.
Yeah, they are.
Anyway, your dad's therapy session.
My dad used to take me to therapy, but I used to just sit in the car. And then I think, like, thinking back, I think he would just take me to, like, for him to he would go get pot. He would score weed. And I think I would just, like, sit in the car. And so while he was doing that, I got to go through the albums, and I got to pick one. And so the song that really stuck with me is by Stone Temple Pilots called "Dead and Bloated." You guys ever heard of the song?
I have not.
Yes. It is a very good song.
I think it's a very good song, and I was doing the research on it, and the singer said it's not technically about anything. It's just a stream of conscious of angst and vibe. And at 8 years old, I was like, yes, I feel angsty and vibey right now. So it's pretty good.
I lied. I have heard it. I just don't remember hearing it.
That's fair.
I was security at one of their shows, and I just looked at the set list, and they did play Dead and Bloated.
Oh wow, that's
Yeah.
cool. You got to see.
Look at you. You're so fancy.
Bam.
Yeah. So, I think like a really cool thing was that music. I feel like with music, I feel like maybe I'm over explaining things, but before like Dead and Bloated, I was listening to like music that my parents let me listen to, and it's just safe. It's nothing crazy. But then when you really get into like your own music, you're like, well, music could be like this. That's pretty cool. So yeah, that's my number 3.
Very nice.
So what I'm hearing is scoring the Devil's Lettuce is a good father-son bonding experience.
Um,
So
If
remember
you
that on
add
your
good
when you
music,
vote this.
if you
add
As
good
long as the soundtrack.
as long as the soundtrack is good. As long as the soundtrack is good. He was pretty fun when he was high. I'm not gonna lie.
That is true. I can attest to that.
Oh, do you guys hang out a lot?
Did we?
Me and Christian. Yeah,
I mean,
sometimes we do.
I don't think you ever
did.
explained the relationship between you guys. So
Oh yeah. He just said this is Christian.
Yeah, you
she
did.
had worms.
and she's a hero.
And she's a
Oh,
hero.
yeah. Apparently, I'm a hero.
Can't forget the hero part.
Well, Christian, affiliation to Lucian unknown. What is your number 3?
Okay, yeah. My number 3 is also kind of like an angsty child song. So when I was in probably middle school, I was obsessed with Rise Against. And I remember every day on the bus, I had my like little red Walkman, and I would only listen to a full year. I would only listen to the Rise Against album, which I don't remember. I don't know the name of the album, but it's like a yellow one or something. But I would only listen to that specific.
on it.
Yes, yeah, that is actually the specific song
Oh, sorry.
that I listen to the most. No, you're good. I mean, I was about to say it, so you're fine. But I would only listen to that album, and I would specifically listen to Savior the most. And part of it was because I did truly really like the album a lot, and I love that song. But part of it was I so desperately wanted somebody else on the bus to ask me what I was listening to, and I wanted to make sure that if that ever happened, it would be a Rise Against song, and that there would be a high chance it would be Savior, because I needed them to know the depths of my teenage angst and like, oh, so desperately I wanted somebody to ask me what I was listening to, and someone did actually once. And guess what? I was not listening to Rise Against, and I was so
Oh no!
I don't remember what song it was, but
It was
I
Hello
remember
Kitty
being
theme song.
You're just like, gosh
I don't
dang it!
remember.
But one day,
I do remember being like
Were
disappointed.
you honest?
So,
Oh
What
yeah,
do you
you
mean,
could have
was I
lied.
honest?
I didn't even think about that. You
True.
could have just generally lied.
oh, I mean, I was such an awkward person that I just like immediately, without thinking, just like handed them my MP3 player.
Hey, here
Like
you go.
I don't even, I don't even think I considered the option of lying. I'm just like, someone's talking to me, I must immediately respond.
You're like, oh, you can have it. You can have my MP3
Right.
Some good stuff.
And
on
I think
there,
they listened, and they listened to the song, and they're like, "Oh, that's weird," and handed it back. I'm like, "No, I missed my chance."
The intern let me know that album was
Like-
Appeal to Reason. Came out in 2008.
Ah, thanks, intern. Thank you. Yeah. So I was convinced in all the movies that's how you met like the love of your life, right? Is like little situations like that, and I missed my opportunity in that moment.
Shit. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut.
Luke,
I
we're
apologize.
live.
I'm sorry.
Shoot.
Shoot.
Or you could have used the
Lucian,
beat
the
button.
man.
Sure, we do have the beat button. It's still
I
the
forgot
really
about the
long
beat
one.
button.
Yeah, that's my number 3.
All right. It's good. Savior's a good song.
I mean, it is. I still listen to it now. But that guy on the bus will never know that I listened to that song. And
You have to go find him. Track him down. I know Lou's good at Facebook stalking. Have him track him down.
Yeah.
Next time you see
You know
Lou, have him
what?
track him down.
For sure.
I'm
Not
married
to be
now, so this is
weird,
less
but-
important. But
I have pretty good pictures of her. Oh,
Wait,
never mind.
pause.
Never mind. No,
You know,
pause.
To be fair,
I
that guy I
checked
did
this thing.
date for a week, and it didn't work out. So maybe it was for the best that I
Okay.
wasn't playing that song.
The truth will set you free, Christian.
Yeah, but it was not for the right reasons, because it wasn't because of the song.
That's it. Would have been storybook ending if it was a song, but
Exactly.
his loss. My number 3, a very classic. It's "Dick in the Box" by Lonely Island.
Oh my god.
I'm joking.
Nice.
I'm not gonna put "Dick in the Box" by Lonely Island.
Oh, I was about to sing the song.
It. I mean, I listened to it today because so this whole list I went through and listened to all my old middle school, high school stuff, and Lonely Island primetime middle school, early high school boy humor. But no, it's not that important to me. I'm going with the 2001 hit "Rock Show" by Blink-182 from the Take Off Your Pants and Jacket album.
one of the 2 greatest album puns ever made.
There we go. I haven't listened to the full album, as we know I am a scrub who only listened to the greatest hits and Neighbors. No, I think I've listened to Dude Ranch. No, End of a State once. But anyways, this every time I hear it, it just takes me back to sometime in the summer of 2012. It was me and my buddies, Tech Bro Drew, who was on the podcast, and Jake, just driving around in my 2000 Pontiac Grand Am, and we would just freaking sing the lyrics with our just sing our hearts out to the lyrics and everything, which is a good time. Always just vibing with it, and just it takes me back to the those not simpler days. It seems like it now, but in reality, it wasn't. And I just really love it, and I kind of grab some lyrics from each of the songs that really stick out. And this one, I'm just gonna go with the chorus because it's so iconic. It's "I fell in love with the girl from the rock show. She said what, and I told her I didn't know. She's so cool. Gonna sneak in through her window. Everything's better when she's around. I can't wait till her parents go out of town because I fell in love with the girl from the rock show."
Wow, that's so meaningful.
Wow, that's so deep.
So deep.
It is.
And I wanted, just like Christian wanted some guy to come and be Prince Charming with the Rise Against. I wanted to find a girl at the rock show and fall in love with her and everything. Didn't happen, but it worked out for the better in the end.
Yeah. What's the name
I
of
love that song.
Rock show.
I don't know if I've heard that song.
I'm not a
Fantastic.
big Blink 182 fan.
I would contend that they're a little overrated. I like them a lot. And I have lots of their songs on my playlists, but I just think that people hold them in slightly too high of esteem.
I think they're like the face of that pop punk early 2000s, late 90s.
Oh, I agree. And
That's probably
that's
why.
why I think they're overrated. It's not that they're not good. They're the best in the genre, and I'm like, they definitely not. They're just
do you
the,
like Sum 41 better?
Oh, without a doubt, I like Sum 41 better.
Serious?
I think Sum 41 is
I disagree,
just-
but that's just me. It's a fair opinion, though. How would you rate
well,
the
as
album?
somebody who's listened to
To all their
albums
greats?
from Blink 182 and some.
Well, to be fair, I've listened to Sum 41's greatest hits, so all I'm saying. Mike, what's your number 3?
My number 3, and this is such a weird one, is "Foxy Lady" by Jimi Hendrix.
Nice.
Oh, can I pause 1 second,
am-
Mike? Do you mind?
Nope, not at all.
I wanted to say this. I thought about it all day. I wanted to make a reference for Lou, but Rock Show was our friend's version of Bohemian Rhapsody from Wayne's World. Just wanted to make that reference for Lou. Probably not worth it, but go ahead, Mike.
Okay.
Thanks, Rob. It was
Shout out
good to
to
be
Lou.
seen. Sometimes I wonder if you guys treat me different because of the color of my skin, and then you bring me right back in,
Oh
man.
my god.
Oh, we don't treat you different because of the color of your skin. We treat you different because you're a misogynist. My number 3 is, and Christian, if you'd listen to all the, you'd get that joke. And I don't even really like that song that much. It's fine. Jimi Hendrix is pretty good. But I was driving down Crooks Road with my grandmother one day, and she really liked that song, and she was like, "Look, you gotta sing along." And I was like, "I don't know the song."
So it's such
And
a
she
weird
was like, "All you have to do is say Foxy," and I was like, "I don't know what that means, but this is weird, and I'm not doing that." And she was not happy at all. But the weird thing is that's kind of the memory that memory is connected, but a completely different memory is connected through Crooks Road in Rochester Hills, because on the same road that I didn't sing Foxy Lady, in the same red Jeep, I was driving somewhere with my granny, and their dog had just died, and they had like, I didn't have a dog growing up, but they did. So like when that dog died, it was like the closest thing to my dog dying I'd ever experienced. And I was like, "Granny, how are you not like super sad right now?" And she was like, "Honey, losing Maggie is like losing an ant." And it took me a minute to process that she meant the insect and not your mother's sister, which made it make way more sense. And she was like, "But losing you would be like losing a castle. So it's not that sad because I still have you." And when you tell a single digit, I don't remember exactly how old I was, that they're as important as a castle, they're never going to have self-esteem issues again. So if anything,
so that's
everybody
why.
else should be mad at her, because my wild, unchecked ego was birthed right there
Thanks,
on that
Brandon.
road. And whenever I hear Foxy Lady, because it was at like the same geographic location, more or less.
Foxy. Who was the original writer of that song? Pretty sure that was.
Was it not Jimi Hendrix?
I assumed it was Jimi Hendrix. Was it Wayne's World? Was it Garth?
Yep, it was.
Yeah, that's
Wayne.
it.
Okay, it was the Wayne's World cover I was thinking of, or how they used it in that. But no, he did write Foxy Lady. Well, looks like we're number 2. What's your number 2, Lou?
My number 2. Sorry, my number 2 is camp related, which I think is super funny because I already talked about it. We talk about it quite a bit, but you make good memories at camp. So back in 2012, the first time going to camp, I think I've already explained this quite a bit, so I won't go too much in detail. But that week of camp, you have to give your phone away. And so that week was the first week I think in ever that I wasn't around technology or secular music or anything that connected me to any of the world. And so when you get your phone back, you kind of get that like rush. You know, you get that like, I don't know,
Like
your eyes
Michael
get
with
dilated.
You get that high.
That high. That's exactly what I was thinking.
You just took a tolerance break, and now you get to puff.
Now you get the puff, baby. And so I'm thinking about like, what's the first song? Because I had my headphones on, first song too. And at the time, I was really big into LLJ. And Mama Said Knock You Out was the song that I listened to for the first time. And it felt like I wanted to knock somebody out. I just like, it was the most hype song I've ever heard in my entire life. And it's a weird transition going from like Kumbaya, everything's good, to like my mom's. This LL Cool J made a song about his mom telling him to knock somebody out. And if you never heard of the song, I recommend that you do, because it's a really good hype song. And so, yeah, I kind of connect that weirdly when I think about my faith. I think about LL Cool J. And Mama saying knock you
Who
out.
doesn't really?
So that's my number 2.
I
Wow.
know that song because of Kangaroo Jack, which was like one of the weirdest movies I've ever watched.
I have nothing but fond memories of Kangaroo Jack. Apparently, there's a lot of people who are upset by that movie, and they feel it didn't deliver on the promise of the trailer. But I liked it.
I only saw the
I
trailer.
just didn't like how the kangaroo moved. It just weirded me out. Like, stop moving like this.
Kangaroo Jack came out in like 2004 or something like that. Who was upset about the trailer? Like, how do you have that?
I think what happened was they made it sound talking kangaroo, and then like the only time it talked was when they were like, on drugs, I think.
Oh.
And so it was like
I
if you
vividly
only actually had,
remember that scene.
What?
You guys,
did
sorry,
not
this
see
is
this
super
movie.
random. You never seen Kangaroo
No,
Jack?
I remember the scene trailers, but no.
It's good. This is super random, but you ever seen that TikToks where the guy gets a piece of Swiss cheese and he throws it on a piece of on a book, and
The
he only
newspaper?
reads
Yes, the cheese
the-
of truth.
the cheese of truth? That's what it sounds like
Yeah.
Mike is doing.
Cheese
That
of truth.
It sounds like he's talking in the cheese of truth, because I heard like Kangaroo Jack, drugs, talking kangaroo.
Guess what the Rotten Tomatoes for Kangaroo Jack is?
What's the
Is
right?
it like
14%.
weirdly high?
No, it's not 14%.
What is it?
9%.
Ah, it's
Oh
close.
my god.
slander.
16
We already
on
know you
Metacritic.
can't trust.
Well, here you
You
go.
can't trust
IMDb
Rotten Tomatoes.
gives it a 4.5 out of 10. So
Oh, jeez.
that's
All right,
the
we're gonna have
highest.
to rewatch this movie next time you're in town as a group.
I don't regret watching it the first time. I will say that.
We're gonna have to rewind. What is it, 21 years ago? That's when it came out. We're gonna have to rewind some time here. Well, Christian, what's your number 2?
All right. For my number 2 spot, I was debating between the Trailer Park Girls song with Eminem and then Can't Take My Eyes Off of You by Frankie Valli. And I decided to go with the Frankie Valli song. So, me and my best friend Megan worked over the summer at the college we went to, and it was just super fun because we were trusted way more than like any other person in our crew because everyone else just set such low standards. And my friend set ridiculously high standards, and just by association, I was trusted. So we got like just a lot of special privileges and things that summer. We got to like drive these cool little Kubotas, which if you don't know what those are, they're just like work golf carts is the best way to describe them. And that was when me and my friend just really started to like solidify our friendship. And the kind of soundtrack of that summer was just like songs like this, like the Can't Take My Eyes Off of You, and I listened to a lot of like the Temptations and things like that. But specifically, this song, we would like multiple times a day would just be driving on our little Kubotas and like singing the song at the top of our lungs and just having just like the best time as we were waking up at like 6 o'clock in the morning to go do yard work, like and grounds work, and like sending on these random missions. Like my boss wanted us to build a rock wall but didn't want to buy the rocks, so there was like a month where we were sent into the woods to dig up rocks while listening to these songs and singing them and just being so happy even though we were doing all these ridiculous jobs. So every single time I hear that song, I just think of that summer and just how fun it was and how grateful I am that now she is my best friend, and that I don't know, she's just like a great person. She also listens to this podcast, so
Shout
she'll
out
probably
Megan.
listen to this episode. It is Megan. I didn't even say her name.
Yeah,
It
you
is
did.
Megan. Megan, thanks for listening. Megan's also the one who told me I need to listen to the episode about which animals you guys could fight. She's the one who was ridiculous.
Blame my wife. Wait, did
Yeah,
you guys,
honestly,
did you not say that?
as insane as Rob's picks were, you're gonna learn about your husband. And far more disturbing.
That's when
Do I
Spicy Lou
want
was
to
born.
learn these things? I feel like in a
It would
healthy
be-
relationship, there's like some amount of mystery.
You gotta have some mystery.
You know?
I mean,
we
there's
go.
different. I mean,
Well, here.
mystery is good, but like, I think it's as a human, it's good that you should know what you're involved in.
I was all for listening to this episode until you said that.
I don't know what you guys talk about. You could just know this about him, and I don't know how open you guys are. I have no clue.
Yeah, I mean, my
Just
filter
the
is
general
completely off.
vibe, I'm gonna guess no. Your filter's off, but I feel like it's off to a different level when you're around like
The boys, the boys,
When the boys are buzzing.
Also-
who
Well,
has
or
no
Megan.
filter?
the boys are buzzing.
you've said some weird things around Megan and Dylan too. So.
Oh, Megan's a boy too. Surprise, Dylan.
Does Dylan listen
What
to the pod?
No, Dylan.
Oh.
Dylan is too smart to
No,
listen
no,
to
he
the pod.
doesn't.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. I don't want to kill any Dylan's brain cells on that one.
No shout out to Dylan then.
No shout out to Dylan. Real quick, is Umi next
Well,
to you,
he
Christian?
might-
Oh no.
Yeah, why?
Why are you looking
I
for
could
a dog?
hear her.
Lucian?
I could hear her breathing.
You can hear her breathing?
I can't. I don't know. If
She's snoring.
Right.
I thought someone was just
It might
taking
be
a,
like-
a rip or something.
it's taking
Oh,
over.
no, that's my dog.
Getting a fat cloud of whatever.
Yeah, Chris is taking fat hits in the middle of talking.
It'll be a good like background noise. That's important in a podcast.
Can I get some
For sure.
Umi ASMR? Just like sleep sounds with Umi.
Here, let me see if I can get her close to my headphones.
I don't-
I don't know.
I
I,
can't
feel
hear
like I don't
nothing.
hear her.
Yeah, nothing.
I heard something. I
Well,
don't
if
know
she
what it
starts
was.
snoring again, okay.
All
If she starts snoring, she might feel self-conscious now.
That's true. Put her on the spot.
Perform anxiety, for sure.
So for my number 2, Lucian said last week something along the lines. I don't know how we got there, how it happened, but he wanted me to open up the butt cheeks of my heart. So
More the whole, but yeah, that's good.
I don't.
I believe the exact quote was "Spread the butt cheeks of your heart."
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Sorry, I was
Sounds
just thinking of
about
the
right.
whole.
Whoa. Now I feel.
The
Sorry.
whole.
Anyways.
Yeah.
Okay.
Black
Well, in
holes.
order to get an optimal view, you need the cheeks spread too. So continue, Rob.
All right. So I did pick my 1 and 2 are not nowhere close to as lighthearted as my number 3. My number 2 is actually a song I can't even listen to anymore. It's the Signs of Light from The Head and the Heart, the album The Signs of Light, which came out in 2016, and really like the whole last 3 or 4 songs I can't listen to because it came back when I was in 2018 in Tulsa. So I grew up only child of a single parent. I was alone a lot, but one thing I had the bond with and just befriend was my dog. So so I got him. I think it was 2004. Went to college in 2016, but he ended up not doing well in 2018. So it was on a Thursday night. My mom called. Was like, "Hey, I think I'm gonna have to put Copper down." So I drove back, got in my car right then, drove back to Michigan. It was like a 14.5-hour drive, and I just kind of had this album kind of on repeat, just bawling my eyes out. Cause like, unlike your granny, this was like my castle as a kid. So I will, Granny's. I'm not cold-hearted killer like Granny was, but and the lyrics that really kind of stuck in my head were, "I'll wait by your bed for the signs of light. They say you're gone, but I know you're all right. I want to be there when you open your eyes. It's been so long. You've been barely alive. When you sleep, what do you dream? I need to know you're thinking of me." And it's just, like I said, I maybe have listened to these songs once since then. Just because I'm so wrapped up in that memories of that car ride back and just bawling my eyes out that even kind of just reading over the lyrics, I was starting to feel a little teary-eyed getting pushed back to that situation.
Mhm.
Is that good enough for you, Lou?
Yeah.
Yes, he was. I did not expect you to talk about your dog. I love that dog. That was a great dog.
It was.
I'm happy that I got to talk to him. Sorry.
Mhm.
Well, yeah. I stick with what I say. I stick with it. I'm happy that I got.
Umi could also be a great dog. It's not like it's not a one. There's only one great dog.
Oh no, just like the way I talked to him made it seem like I was having full conversations with
Well,
the dog, and I
We
wasn't.
know what you think about animals, so
Yeah.
did not happen.
I did not
I was there.
have any sexual thoughts about your dog, if that's what you're incurring. It's more like a brother
I'm concerned
situation.
about what might actually be in this.
They're painting me a picture, Christian. They're making me.
They're paying.
Yeah,
They're
well,
painting. They're thinking that I like have sexual relations with things, and I
How
don't.
much did you help paint this picture?
you may have slurred a word that sounded like another word.
Oh,
mumbled word.
okay, yeah.
And I was gonna
I
let it
think
go,
that-
but Mike and I both made the same face at each other. Like, did he just say what we think he said? And
I
yeah.
can't even remember what even word.
You
Yeah.
said fight, but it came
You
out.
tried to say fight, but it did not sound like fight.
Okay.
Yeah.
My mom dropped me on the head when I was a
Rough
kid.
is the perfect word to describe
right.
this.
So that's how long we can be serious on the top podcast. What was that? 30 seconds, something like that.
That's good. I like it.
So
You know
Yeah.
what? It was progress, I think.
There we
For
go.
Thank you
sure.
for sharing that story, Robert.
This is just gonna
It
become
made
my
me
therapy
emotional.
session from now on. So watch out, guys.
Hey, we're gonna start charging you if you start doing that.
Lucian
Once we start
is
making money,
my
I'll start
family's
paying.
therapist.
All right, nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. I mean,
As long as you say I'm not a doctor, Right? That's
No.
You can't actually provide any clinical advice.
sorry.
Give you advice.
end.
That's true. Yeah, you guys are
have to
putting
always
me
end
in.
it with, but ask a doctor. That's what you got to do,
I'm not
and
a
then
doctor,
you're good.
but
I'm not a doctor. But Kathy, I think you should. All right. Is it my
Mike,
turn?
what's your number 2, Mike?
Oh my.
My number 2 is also a song that makes me think of camp. And I have this memory of us discussing this on the podcast, but I just can't find it. And I asked some people and they don't remember it. So it's Kids by MGMT.
I don't think we talked about it.
And yeah, I have the most distinct memory. I think we might have maybe talked. I talked about it with Jacob in like a crowd of people that included Lucian or something. But it was like the song of the summer, maybe 10th grade, I want to say. And it's literally, it is just a bop. I'm almost positive that it's one of the band wrote intentionally to be like, look, you don't have to write like lyrics that mean anything as long as it's like, it's one of those songs that literally means nothing. But it does have a really catchy tune. And so we just blasted everywhere. We had one of those like speaker sets that you'd plug the iPod into. And we just like carry that around with us because Mr. B was our counselor and we kind of could just get away with, how you say, more than most in that situation.
Back when we were allowed to have secular music at camp. Thanks, someone.
I don't even know if we were or we weren't, but like you could get away with really a lot. And there was one day where some people who will remain unnamed, but are definitely Dylan and associates, decided that they were going to have a dance party in the Sunrise bathrooms.
Oh my gosh.
And poor Jacob, he was in the other boys' Sunrise cabin, and he walked in the door, and Dylan and associates, and an unnamed counselor who will actually remain unnamed because he was just there for the lull, but like probably could get in trouble for this.
You've already shared his name in the past.
Well, not in connection with this, have I?
Is it naked related?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, you've already shared.
Okay, so we have talked about this.
well,
It's
you
not
talked
just-
about the.
Nothing. Yeah, we didn't talk about the song, but the counselor that remained anonymous can continue to remain anonymous.
Yeah.
They have bleeped out his name, so
Did we bleep out his name last
don't
time?
remember.
Okay. Oh.
definitely talk about the
We'll
naked
find-
dance
I
party.
do.
I
I
mean-
do remember an episode where you bleeped out a name.
I mean,
Well, that happens
so,
semi-frequently.
that happens all the time. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, he was a Marine, so I mean, it is what it is.
But
Okay.
he's literally sitting there just working the light switch to strobe to kids, while at one point one of the guys is naked and straddling the door, the stall, and just swinging back and forth. All of the shower heads are turned on, just soap bubbles everywhere.
He did the wrecking ball before it was the thing.
And I just remembering I'll find a different bathroom was still to this day one of my all-time favorite. That's all. I'm not saying it's a good thing that should have been done, but that song and that memory forever linked.
So whenever Mike hears that song on the radio, he just pictures his naked guys. So we got him.
What song was it again?
Swinging on stall
Kids
doors.
by MGMT.
Oh, okay.
Chitty Bang also kind of remixes the beginning of it for his song, I believe Kids. What is it? Oh, well, it sounds like it. Something like that. So it was a very popular intro. I just like the kids talking. Dun, 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 dun.
Yeah, that one.
Free falling.
No, no.
What?
No, Tom Petty.
Oh, I think I know what song you're talking about.
Does he not say free falling 2 on that one?
No.
He
No.
said so. I can. Your intonation.
Control yourself. Dun 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 dun. Take only
I
what you
think he
need from
does-
it. Take only what you need from it.
A family of
doesn't
trees
mean-
wanting
Wanting
to
to be
stay
haunted.
haunted is the
Wanted
Stay
to
is
be
the line you were humming.
Free falling. I think I like free falling better, but okay.
crossover we never knew.
Family
we
of
needed.
trees free falling is
Oh,
if
gosh.
you're a logger.
It creates a
go.
nice visual, though.
If we get 100,000 likes, we'll make a parody with all the loggers out there.
You pulled that right out of your butt.
Well, I was gonna say 100, but I'm like, no, it needs to be more than that because we're not gonna do that unless.
Thought you were gonna say we will free fall a family of trees.
No. We're not environmental terrorists. We do not support. the
Maybe
code.
you're not.
Well, thank goodness for that.
Lou, what's your number one?
My number 1. Thank you for asking. Thank you so much for asking.
You are welcome.
I
Did
really
is
do
your phone lock
appreciate
on
it.
you?
There it is. I wanted to invite Christian. I thought what would be the perfect thing to invite Christian on the podcast, so not make her feel awkward. We'll have to talk about sexual things because that's weird.
Oh my god.
And so I
Wait,
thought,
you
Why
guys
would she
married or
feel
something?
awkward about that? Your relationship.
It's undisclosed what your relationship is.
it is undisclosed what our
Right.
relationship is,
Like,
and we're gonna
I
keep
my
it
dog's-
disclosed.
Now my
who
dog's
you
snoring.
are.
We're gonna keep it in the closet.
Oh,
My dog is also snoring for all you pod listeners. I'm sure it's not coming
dog
over
is
the mic, but it's gonna
snoring. Your dog probably snores like a beautiful butterfly.
no, it's much more of a growl.
Like a beautiful butterfly.
Christian, you'll hear it when you listen back to this pod.
Okay.
I don't know if Mike or Lou listen to the pod anymore, but Mike does.
I do sometimes.
Anyways,
So my number 1.
that was getting a little weird there.
Yeah, I mean, hey, welcome to the Kuzos.
What is your number 1, Lucian?
Hey, you cannot boss me around.
Hey, Lucia, what's your
outside
number
the pod
one?
And inside the
I
pod.
asked a question
not how that works.
related to what you...
So my number 1 is. Sorry, it's hard to stop and start, man. It's hard to stop and start. Once the flows is going, man, you gotta let the flow. You feel me?
Flow out your number
Hold
one
on.
for us.
I will
Start
I
the
will-
flow over.
I will. I will. Good podcasting.
We're doing this live.
We're doing this live. I won't take up any more of your time. Listen, if you listen to this whole podcast and get upset with me for padding a little bit of time, you're the weird one for listening to this podcast for this long.
Whoa!
I know what our viewer retention stats are. We're pretty safe.
I
at this
appreciate it.
That's
In
what
fact,
I
if you listen to the podcast this far, you're one of my favorites. Yeah, you.
I'm high
yeah,
and
you.
tight.
You know who you are.
I'm
You're my
high and
favorite.
tight in the beginning, baby, and then in the end, I get a little loose.
Lucy
The
Goosey.
bandana comes
I
off.
bet Megan
Lou-
makes it this far.
Lou, what is your number one though?
My number 1.
Thanks
My
for
number
asking,
1.
Rob.
Thanks for.
No problem, Christian.
My number 1 is Santeria by Sublime. That's my number 1. Does anybody know why that's my number 1? No.
Christian might.
Christian
I
might.
do.
You do. Good stuff.
do.
So when
I
me and
do.
Christian started dating, I was thinking to myself, how am I going to bond with this white woman? I really don't know. We come from 2 different lifestyles. She comes from like a city with one road, with one
Call it a
stoplight.
city.
With one village. She comes from one village.
Village.
Takes
She comes from one village with one stoplight. And honestly, a pretty
Actually, I
decent
think it has
Chinese
two.
restaurant, but that's beside the point. So the first thing that we actually bonded over was music. And
And you were
There's-
like, "Hey, what are you listening to?"
And I was like, oh, my
just
second
take it.
chance.
It all connects, baby. It all connects. And this wasn't planned, but hey, you love to see it. You love to see it. And so, and there's a lyric where Christian would always get wrong in this song, where she would say it's called. They would say spend it all, but she would say lost it all. And I thought it was the cutest effing thing in the entire world when she would get the lyric wrong. And I was like, I love this woman. I want to cut her hand off
Whoa.
and keep it.
Oh.
Keep it on my face.
Oh, well.
That's an anime
Never told me
reference.
that part.
Uh,
Is it?
Huh? I told it to you when you were asleep, but I think you were asleep at the time.
Oh my god.
that's even worse. You're just like Christian.
Question: when you were telling her this thing while she was asleep, did you or did you not have a hacksaw?
Did you take a big
That
big
is an
sniff after? You're
important
just like, hey
detail.
Christian, I want to cut off your hand and put it on my face. I'm just taking a big sniff.
I'm leaning towards no, because I'm scared that if he did have one, I might be only one-handed.
Hey, that'd be cute. But yeah. It's like a real chill song. I remember one of our first dates. We went and stuck our hand in just a pile of CDs, like albums, and just grabbed one and ended up being an Aerosmith song. It has nothing to do with my number one, but it's the same kind of. And so
It's
yeah,
like,
music was
ugh,
kind
look
of.
at that. Look at those digits there.
Oh,
Look good around my face.
I could have said something so much cuter than this, but hey, we're sticking with it, huh?
What anime is it a reference to?
Oh, My Hero
Allegedly.
Academia.
Oh, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Do you think of me as that weird hand guy?
A little
No,
bit.
you're the weird
There's a
hand
hand
guy.
guy? You're a weird hand?
Yeah,
oh,
there's-
we know he's a weird hand guy now.
Lucian's the weird hand guy.
Man, we're fighting so much about Lou in like the past 5-10 episodes.
Weird hand guy.
Yeah.
You can't even.
Some have foot fetishes. I guess Lucian has a hand fetish. I don't know.
Ooh, I guess that is. Don't we all have hand fetishes a little bit? Okay.
No, I
Hands
would
are kinda
not
weird.
consider myself to have a hand fetish.
Hand over feet though? Do you like feet better?
No.
I don't
No,
have
I
to.
don't think
No,
a
it's not. I
preference
don't
would
have to have either. Right.
I'd rather have your hand
Hey,
touch
put
me
down in the
than a foot
comments,
touch
hands or feet.
That doesn't
Hands or
make
feet
it a
down in the
fetish.
comments.
That just makes it a preference.
What's your guys' preference on?
All right.
Depends,
Hi,
how long
Mom.
are the
How are you
toes?
doing? Sorry you're listening to this, Mom, but this is just what you signed up
Mom isn't listening to this
for.
long.
Yeah, she
but if
does.
you
My
are,
mom does listen to this
She does the whole long,
Yeah,
the whole
whole thing.
episode.
whole thing. She
What
also
is she-
had some beef with the animals chosen, but like I said, it was my wife that chose them.
Oh
so.
yeah.
Oh, she's beef with
Becca
you.
chose your animals?
Yeah, I was the only one that I'm not gonna have too big of a head, so I'm gonna let my wife choose for me and then rate them that way. So it was a very easy list for me. 'Cause I did literally
Did you
nothing.
agree with the choices?
Some of them,
Okay.
but I like
He was one
I-
of the only people who agreed with any of them.
I like how confident my wife is in me. It's nice.
A nice ego boost.
Yep. I wasn't told I was a castle as a kid, so I needed that ego.
What is it told
You
us?
gotta get your confidence in other ways.
Yeah.
Your boy wants to storm the castle. Sorry.
Oh.
What?
You're gonna start calling me January Sixers, baby.
All right, Christian, what's your number one?
Oh my. Okay. My number one is.
Wait, hold on. Oh, it was the Sublime song. I'm so sorry. I was so taken by the hand.
I'll take you by the hand.
Whoa, Christian, we gotta move on.
All right, leave their hands alone. Now that we know that you have a special connection to them, apparently.
Everyone email lou@thetoppodcast.com and picture your hand.
In a fist.
Oh.
Different
Ew,
positions.
Okay.
Christian,
Sorry.
what's your number one?
What's your number one, Christian? I'm losing it.
Oh my god.
It's
Okay.
late.
My number.
FYI, we're recording this later than usual, so we might be a little loopy. I'm sorry, Christian. I'm being a bad host.
You're being fine. We're just learning things, and that's okay. Yeah.
This is our therapy session, so you're our therapist.
What? I don't know how. I did not know that was my role, and I definitely would have made more comments if I knew that was my
I was
job
allowed to respond like this.
We didn't tell you? Wow.
Maybe after we all share our top song, we can circle back to some things.
I'm gonna need it after mine, but
Okay.
go ahead.
Okay. My number one is Shine by Collective Soul. This is my number one because when I was in high school, I remember telling my mom that I wanted a guitar for Christmas. I wanted one so bad. I told her that's the only thing I wanted, that I would never ask for anything else. I wanted one so bad. Unfortunately, I grew up in a house of 5 children, and so, and my mom was a single mom. So she didn't necessarily have guitar money. So what my mom did instead is have you guys ever heard of paper jams?
It rings a bell.
Not at all.
They are these little cardboard guitars that have like pre-recorded songs on them. And they're like just like these little kids. They're like, a step down from those like plastic pretend guitars. They're just like they're just these little cardboard guitars that at the time people are trying to make really cool. But they were also like really cheap. So my mom bought me a paper jams instead of like an actual guitar for Christmas. And one of the songs on it was Shine by Collective Soul. And I freaking loved that paper jam so much because I knew how badly my mom wanted to get me an actual guitar. And I knew that like this was like her best way of trying to do that for me. And so I loved that thing. I played it all the time. It had 2 songs on it. I think the other one was Free Falling. I never played
Those
that option
trees.
because I didn't really like the song. Exactly, yeah. So I never played that option because I don't know. I just didn't really like that song at the time. I loved the other song, Shine by Collective Soul. So I would play that all the time. And so now every single time I hear that song, I like immediately think of like how I felt that day, like opening that present and playing with this weird, stupid little guitar that was meant for kids way younger than me. But I don't know. It was just like one of the most meaningful gifts I feel like I've ever gotten. So yeah, so that is my number one, my most nostalgic memory, I think, that is associated with music.
Nice. Those paper jams,
Thanks,
they were
Robert.
styling.
Thanks.
Sent you guys a
They-
pic on our
they-
Facebook message.
Do you remember what color they were?
do you have a
let me
V-neck
see.
guitar?
You know what? Let me. Oh, what is that picture?
Oh, I do remember these. Sorry, I went silent. Lucian said some
You were
stuff
too busy
earlier, and
editing Lucian's picture.
I went on a wild Photoshop bender.
Oh no.
I do remember these.
Yeah,
I thought it was just your Walmart internet. Going.
I'm pretty sure the first picture that pops up, the like red one. Oh no, was it this blue one? No, I can't remember. I kind of feel like it was that first one that pops up. No, it's the blue one. It was the blue one with the star. That's the one I had. I don't think it lasted long because, like I said, it was made out of cardboard, and I was in a family of 5 children, so it was well used for a short period of time. But yeah, I'm pretty sure it was the blue one with the little star in the middle is the one that I got.
Mm-hmm.
Did you ever actually get a guitar?
I did, and I never learned how to play it.
You got
I
a
think
banjo
my mom
too.
brought me a. I did get a banjo, but I also never learned how to play. I have a lot of instruments for someone who doesn't know how to play them. I have 3 different types of ukuleles, a banjo, and a banjolele. I did actually. Yeah, I did actually learn how to play a few songs on the banjolele, and then I broke the strings. So.
You bought that banjo lady when you were like dirt poor.
I did.
That was gonna be your savior.
I make
by Rise Against.
You know? Yeah, exactly. No, I can't remember. I was trying to learn how to. Is it called transposing? Like where you take songs from one instrument and change it into another one.
Well, that'd be the key.
Transposing is the key. Really, yeah, you can. So if it's just a chord sheet, you can play it on kind of any instrument.
For those that don't know and can't put them together, it's a banjo and a ukulele. If they had a baby.
Oh yes, banjolele is like a tiny, adorable little banjo. So I was actually learning at the time how to turn, I think it was piano songs into like banjo or ukulele music, like
Can't
that whole
ruin
process.
ukuleles
And I learned
for
a
me.
couple songs. Well, what about banjoleles though?
I don't think those were really a thing back when I was at camp. So you're good on the banjoleles.
Oh, you're okay.
I never
Now I
had a
kinda wanna learn it
banjolele,
again.
but I did convince a girl I was dating that she needed a banjolele, and then I got to play.
I guess.
That's hilarious.
This is why Mike loves games like Secret Hitler.
Life is Secret Hitler.
I'm terrible at games like Secret Hitler. Terrible.
All right, my number one. It's oh gosh, I'm gonna look at whatever you sent in the chat later. I'm scared.
Oh, I think you should look at it now. I think it will prepare you for what you're about to say.
I mean, does it want to talk about depression? I don't know about that one.
Oh, it'll help with depression for sure.
I think so. I agree.
I like how we're going back to therapy.
I mean, I'm not a doctor.
Well,
but...
my number one is actually all about depression. So it's more of like a memory of I struggled. I've said a kind of a rough growing up, just a lot of different things and loneliness. So I struggled a lot with depression, especially like high school through college and everything. And there's this one song that I honestly I don't think I would be here right now if it wasn't for this song. So I feel like I kind of, even though it's more of it was a time period, not just one specific memory. It's like this is the song that got me out of all like my darkest nights and everything. And the song is called "It's All Worth Living For" by Levi the Poet. It's just a single, came out. He released it in 2017. It's a spoken word song. The premise is like, hey, I found this really awful cup of coffee. Like, you should have it with me. Like, it's life is worth living through that. And the lyric ties into that is, but this cup of coffee, God, it's horrible. You've got to try it. I want to hear about your family. Tell me about your great-grandfather and how he got through the Great Depression. And tell me how you'll get through yours. This moment is a part of it. Breathe. And I really could go through this whole song, and it's like I said, it's spoken word, so it might not be for everybody. And if you do go look it up, which I'd recommend, it's a 10-minute song, so be forewarned for that. And the first like 50 seconds is like this recording he took for like a gathering or something, so it might sound a little weird, but you can just skip ahead 50 seconds and it'll get to the actual song. But man, like I just feel like I can't not put this as number one because, like I said, it had such a pivotal role in my life, and that it would, like I said, I don't think I'd be here if it wasn't for this, because I was, however foot away from doing just stuff that, yeah, and the song just kind of means the world to me for that. You wanted this, Lou.
Thanks for sharing.
I did want this. You're right. I just wish Mike's Wi-Fi was better for it, but I mean, here we are.
What is Mike's
I
Wi-Fi?
heard
Robert's story.
I just wanted to throw another. I'm sorry.
He's just very uncomfortable with the situation.
And he is a deflector. He likes to deflect.
So
What's that
Christian,
like?
what's your analysis here?
My analysis, Robert. My analysis is that you were very vulnerable, and I think we all appreciate that. And depression is something that is very difficult, and a lot of people experience. And I think it's helpful when other people hear that people have gone through something similar and been able to make it through.
Mm-hmm.
So
Thank you.
But if
So
that
my
doesn't work,
analysis is-
you can always check the Facebook Messenger feed now.
I mean, I already looked at it. I was expecting a little more. I'm not gonna lie, you guys kind of overhyped it. You
I
should've
mean,
put
to
the-
be
you should've-
fair,
you
if
should have
you-
put the hand on Lou's face, not a hand holding Lou's face. Just.
Oh,
it's
you
like
know
something
what?
you have to-
Man, I'm just
So,
grabbing
okay.
hands off the internet on the.
So you're just going through your saved messages
than
and
you'd think.
grabbing hands.
I wish you would have
Alright.
kept a smoother hand
So-
too. This doesn't. It looks like a
So
rough
what
hand.
you need to do, Mike, is you need to look up. I think how you say his name is Tamura Shigaraki from My Hero Academia, and use that as inspiration for your second edit.
You can't see, but I gave you that's a really good idea point.
And
Okay.
so one more thing I want to say about my pick is if you go and watch the music video, it's cool. He got a lot of like all the fans and everything to send in just little clippets of like their like reasons they're still alive. So it's like the story of other people, and you kind of see like the everyone's like family dynamic and kind of like what they hold as important in their life, and it's just a really cool experience, even if you just want to watch the video once.
Yeah. It sounds cool. I haven't heard of that song before. Or are spoken word songs still called songs? Or is it just called spoken word?
I mean, there's some ambient synths behind them, so it's not just the voice. So there's music to it.
But it sounds very cool.
Thank you. Mike, bring us on home with your number one.
Yeah, so my number one is The Whitest Thing About Me. It is The Scientist by almost The Scientist by Coldplay, which is just like I associate that with being lily white personally. But that was so when I was also in 10th grade. Yes, also in 10th grade. My grandma died from her early onset Alzheimer's. We should have got about 10 years. It took her out in about 2, which in hindsight is a blessing because it was a rough couple years. But she didn't have to drag out for her, you know? And it was like, you know, it was hard for us all. I think she would have been happy with the way everything turned out. But that was the song that my uncle put behind the slideshow at her funeral. And so I can't hear that song anymore without being a 15-year-old kid at my grandma's funeral and not knowing what I'm going to do, because that was the person who thought I was a castle. And now she's gone, and I don't have access to the bleep button right now, but what the fuck am I supposed to do going forward? And so every time I just feel alone, terrified every time I play that song or hear that song. So I just don't listen to that song, which is a bummer because it's a good song. But yeah.
It's rough. Alzheimer's and dementia is I've experienced. I've had family members that it's a rough go.
Yeah. No, we
Lucian
did get
and
some.
I are also.
Yeah. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Oh no, you're fine. I was just gonna say, Lucian and I are also currently going through that, and it is a very difficult progression of a disease.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you do get some crazy good quotes though.
Oh my god, yeah. You do.
There was some
One
really
of your
hard
guys'
in our family because there were 2 groups. There was the you can either laugh or cry, so you may as well. And then there was the what is wrong with that group, and it took a while for that to get worked out.
Yeah, Lucian and I are definitely in the you gotta laugh about it camp, but you guys should do an episode of
I can't say I know enough. I remember much about it.
Well,
I could easily
maybe
get
you
five.
can maybe you could interview somebody.
Interview
Just
somebody.
go to a nursing home.
Is that what you're saying?
Ask around for a while.
All right. So rapid fire. You guys got any honorable mentions?
Ocean
One of my
Avenue.
honorable. Oh,
Sorry.
go ahead.
No,
Sorry.
What were you gonna say, Christian?
No, you're fine.
Well, it's,
I was
it's
gonna
rapid
say-
fire.
Oh, okay. Rapid. Where's my list? Here's my list. I
All right,
lost it. Oh,
I'll go right quick.
Banana pancakes.
Oh, banana pancake. Have you ever? What's your thoughts on banana pancakes? Yes or no?
I love them.
Okay.
Love
Good to
them.
know.
Okay.
They're
They're
hard to
best
cook with
with
one hand.
walnuts and caramel sauce as well, but
No caramel sauce. Walnuts are
Ooh.
okay.
All right, I'm gonna go with Two
Who's-
Rocking
it says
Chairs
opinion.
We'll go with Two Rocking Chairs by John Bellion. It's my wife and I's song, so that one obviously has good memories tied to it.
Banana pancakes is one of Lucian and I's songs.
Blue, you got any honorable mentions?
I wrote down "F It" by Iman
Hmm.
is one of the. It's like a breakup song that I used in the past. I thought a lot of breakup songs, like "Spaceships" by Eminem, was another breakup song back.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty good. I could be cuter and say the song that we played at our wedding that I know.
But you don't
Christian.
know what you dance to. What
You
your song?
Yeah.
definitely know what it
It
is.
It's by. It's a "Best Friend" by the Queen.
Yes, it
Okay.
is. It is. You picked
Was
it
it
out.
that? I think Drew also had that for his wedding too.
Really?
Yeah, and
Nice.
you guys did it first by like a month, so
I
congrats
know.
to you guys.
Yeah,
But
it
hey,
was a very last minute pick.
yes, it was.
I got one more for all the camp people. Sing Alleluia. Boppin' song. It's a banger. Don't know why it
Ooh.
never gets sung outside of camp, but
That is a banger. What is it? Fire? What is it? Sandstorm? That's
oh jeez.
a banger.
Yeah, that is a good one.
Do the Bob Tissot? Do the.
I didn't realize.
Can I say the? I don't know if I'm allowed to say the whole name or not.
well, you already did. But we'll just.
Sorry, I don't mean to add things to her.
He's a public figure. He's published a book, but we'll just keep it on the DL now. DL. I think I'm one of like the 5 people that have that song. I may have hacked into Camp's computer and taken it.
I mean, I'm just saying you have the opportunity to podcast with that instead of the regular music. So your
Well, the
call.
only good-
but I'm
let's
pretty
be
sure
honest.
it's not going to get a copyright strike. So
Let's be honest. The only good part's at the end.
well, I'm not saying the
white
whole
wrapping
song. Just close it out with that.
All right. So next week, I think we're also going to have a guest, and this should be a very special week because I think we're going to have a professional chef on the show. So
Whoa.
Sous chef.
shoe chef.
Sous
So I want to know what your
chef.
top 3 meals to cook are, and for a host, I'm going to limit it to 2 protein-forward meals. So you can't just have like steak, pork, that type of stuff. So you only get 2. Well, you get 2 of those, so that can be it. But we'll let our guest. He can choose whatever he wants because he's the professional in this. So excited to hear what you got. And how many over under Mike 1.5 for meals in a sous vide? I'm taking the over.
Sous vide?
What?
Sous vide. Is it not sous vide?
No,
It's a sous vide.
I
It's a
don't
sous
know. I
vide.
don't use them. I'm a real man.
You're so French. You love
So
to
that-
hear it. So that-
Sylvain? What's the Harry Potter French word? Bourgeois?
Oh,
Is that it?
bourgeois. It's a
Bourgeois?
bizor, and then the original was bourgeois.
Bourgeois?
Bourgeois. Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you.
I do have questions though.
Okay.
Are we trying to impress, or is it just our favorite
No, your
meals to cook that
favorite
we
meals to
enjoy?
cook.
Okay.
Well, Christian, we'd like to thank you for being on this week's episode. Do you have anything you want to shout out when you're here?
Megan, because she listens
Shout
to the
out
podcast and she's my best friend.
There you go.
I was gonna say that as a joke, and then she might actually.
so cute.
Thank you for
I thought you were
listening,
gonna do like an
Megan.
organization or something like cute like that.
Oh,
my
Aim
best
high
Blackface
school.
of America.
oh my god.
All right.
If you put a blackface on a black kid.
All right.
Sorry.
All right. Well, thank
Can
you for listening.
finish
to
us off, please.
Ooh, well, not with the hands that we were talking about.
What hands?
How
Keep
the-
going. Finish us off
You know what he is.
before I say something weird.
You're already doing it.
Before.
All right, well, thank you for listening to this week's episode of the Top Podcast. If you're watching on YouTube, give us a like, comment, subscribe. Let us know if you like banana pancakes or hands or feet, whatever you want to know. Maybe at the second one, because Lou might get a little excited there. But be sure to follow us on our socials. You can find them in the description. If you're watching on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, give us a 5-star review. Leave a comment down below. I know we have some people going in the comments down there, so I think it'd just be great to interact with them. And if you leave a review, we'll read it off on the podcast. But other than that, hope you guys have a great week, and we'll catch you next time. Peace.
Later, alligators.
So, are we just not going to discuss Christian and the whole pool diarrhea comments, or are we just letting that go?
2 truths and a lie,
the
homie.
diarrhea was the lie. The other 2 were truths. The diarrhea thing was a lie.
I got that up with good mythical morning.
Important component to 2 truths and a lie. You gotta let people know in advance that you're playing that game.
I mean, I live my whole life.
Communicating important details.
I live my whole life with 2 truths and a lie.